Welcome to the Life is Better With You Here podcast with Dr. Childs. Here, we want to help, and where there's help, there's hope. A short disclaimer. This podcast is not a replacement for therapy. If you feel you need treatment, we strongly suggest you visit your physician or go to lifeisbetterwithyouhere.org/therapist/ for assistance finding a mental health provider. Our topic for today is core beliefs. Now, here's our host, Dr. Childs.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Life is Better With You Here. Today, our topic will be core beliefs. But as you know, before we get started, we're going to relax ourselves and get ready for this powerful message. So find a comfortable space as I take us through this guided meditation. Sand, water, and warm weather. A favorite setting to imagine resting, relaxing, and closing your eyes. Take the time to imagine resting and relaxing right now. As you close your eyes, imagine you are at the beach in a place of tropical beauty. You are on a sandy beach, standing peacefully. You breathe in deeply and exhale fully. It is warm, and as you approach the water, you see that it is calm, clear, and shallow. You spot a small, colorful tropical fish in shallow water, coming into shore to rest where it is less turbulent. Choosing a safe spot, this vibrant fish remains buoyant. Watch the fins moving gently in the water, keeping the fish at the same depth. The fish appears unconscious of its efforts to remain buoyant. Let this buoyancy linger in your mind until you feel as though you are light and floating yourself. Feeling light and buoyant, allow this sensation to carry you back here, to the present, to this room. And now, awaken and open your eyes. That was a quick meditation. Get you grounded. Hope you're feeling rested. Today, we're going to talk about core beliefs. And I know I talked about it before in one of our sessions, and I think that I said that we're born with core beliefs. And so I want to make a correction. We're not born with them. They develop once we come in the world. So I want to make that clarity. We're not born with core beliefs, but we do develop them once we are here. So core beliefs are a foundational thoughts and assumptions that we have about ourselves and about the world. So core beliefs are the lens with which we view ourselves and how we view other people and the world. They can be good, they can be bad, or they can be neutral. Okay? So as with anything else, when they're bad, we view the world and ourselves in a negative light. When they're good, we view ourselves, the world, and other people in a positive light. And when they're neutral, we view everything neutral. So what we become concerned about is when they're negative, because negative things bring negative feelings and negative outcomes. We want to have positive outcomes, and core beliefs are deep seated. And so they can be difficult to change. So we're going to go over some core beliefs today, positive, negative. We're going to look at how they're established and look at how we can change them. So again, we're not born with them. We come into the world essentially as a blank slate. And then as this blank slate, we get things imprinted on us, initially from our family. Remember, I always say that our family is our first introduction into the world. Love, God, authority, how we treat people. Our family is that introduction. And so a lot of our behaviors come from our family. It's where we learn how to interact with the world. Before we go into the world, this is our classroom. Sometimes it's a good classroom, sometimes it is not. Okay? So therefore, sometimes our core beliefs can be very good, sometimes they're not so great, sometimes they're not. They're bad. Core beliefs can also be very rigid and flexible because once they're in us, and they can just be very hard to change. And so that's what makes them so deep rooted, because they start very young. And when we start something very young, by the time we're 5, 10, 15, 20, they've been there for so long, it's hard to be like, oh, yeah, I don't believe that anymore. I'm going to believe this. It doesn't work quite that easy. So as much as they were ingrained in us, it takes us time to change them. So they can be very inflexible, very rigid. So we tell people, try not to be upset with yourself when you try to get this thought out of your head and you find that very difficult to do. If we're in a loving environment and we receive loving messages, our core beliefs are something like this: I'm lovable, I'm worthy, I'm good enough, capable, I'm safe. Those are some positive core beliefs. If we're in a toxic environment or a chaotic environment, our core beliefs can be something like this: I'm unlovable, I'm a loser, I'm not safe, the world is not safe, people cannot be trusted. You see how that's different? And a lot of us can have those. And to be fair, we can have a mix of those. We can feel lovable, we can feel safe, but we can also feel that other people can't be trusted, And our core beliefs can come from a multitude of places. They can come from family, friends, social media. They can come from all these places. And our experiences can make us feel a plethora, a multitude of different core beliefs. At home, I can feel safe, lovable, and capable. In the world, if I experience racism, discrimination, gender bias, I can feel unsafe, people cannot be trusted, and the world is unsafe. Think about some of the laws that have been repealed or pulled back. How many of us feel unsafe right now? But in other situations, I feel safe. I feel good enough. You see how that works? So depending on what the situation is, our core beliefs can change. Or we can have both good and negative core beliefs about ourselves and about the world. Examples, we can have core beliefs about goodness, about likability, about the world, about competence. So core beliefs about goodness. We think that we are good or bad. About likability, I'm lovable, I'm likable. About the world is a dangerous place, or the world is fundamentally unfair. Competence, I'm intelligent, I'm resourceful, I will succeed if I try. And these are things that we take with us all the time. How many of us failed a test in 3rd grade and was like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it ever because I'm stupid? Core belief. Or you pass the test, oh my God, I'm the greatest ever, I'm going to grow up to be the president. It just depends on where your core beliefs come from. Some other examples of negative core beliefs: real men don't show emotion. I should always try to please others. It's a negative core belief because we can't please everybody, and people pleasing can be detrimental to your mental health. Negative core beliefs are detrimental to your mental health. I'm a failure. I don't even need to tell you that's detrimental to your mental health. And untrue. Any try is not a failure. Do something right or not at all. How many of us have heard those messages from either our parents or other people, and then we internalize that? And how many of us have tried it all because we felt like we couldn't do it right? I'm damaged or broken. How many of us have endured a trauma that made us feel we were damaged or broken, and we've been carrying that for years or decades? And that's a core belief that has been with us. And it may be unspoken, but you feel it. When you get ready to do something, you don't do it because that message, I'm damaged, broken, and it stops you from living your life. More positive core beliefs would be, I'm in charge of my own happiness. And I tell people all the time, you're responsible for your happiness, not anybody else's. They are responsible for their happiness. When we try to make other people happy, you will fail every time because their happiness could change. And unless you're a mind reader, you may not know when that is. You're responsible for your own happiness. I have the right to say no. Very positive core belief. And no is a complete sentence. You don't owe an explanation, and you absolutely have the right to say no. In previous podcasts, we talk about this in terms of consent. You have the right to say no at any time, any place. It goes for any situation. I am not responsible for the behavior of other adults. You're only responsible for you. Everyone is unique. I love this because it allows us to be who we are without expectations of others. Be who you are. You're important, you're unique, you're valued, and you're valuable. We need you, not the version of you who other people think you should be. We need you. So be yourself. Be the person you want and desire to be. Be the truest version of you. So with those core beliefs, you see how they can be good, they can be bad, negative, positive, neutral. So now let's talk about the impacts of our core beliefs, specifically when they're negative. It can cause you to self-sabotage your efforts. You can self-sabotage relationships, jobs, education. The whole negative core belief of I'm damaged or I'm broken. How many of us have not gone into relationships or shut a relationship down because I felt I was broken? And it could have been the best relationship for you. But because you felt broken, you didn't do it. We get the imposter syndrome. How many of us have had that? I've had that. Usually it happens in our jobs. We think we shouldn't be in that space. We don't know why we're in that space. Those are all those negative core beliefs. You don't deserve to be here. You're not good enough. And so we feel like imposters. And as imposters, we have, and we'll talk about this, these automatic thoughts. That's the instant thought that comes up when something happens. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't be here. I don't know what I'm doing. So I have to pretend I know what I'm doing. I have to fake it till I make it. The imposter syndrome is very real, and it can tap our self-esteem and bring our self-esteem down. And we did a whole segment on self-esteem. This is one of the things that taps into our self-esteem and kind of demolishes it. It's the imposter syndrome. It increases anxiety and depression when we give into our negative core beliefs and then our automatic thoughts that accompany them. Okay? Core beliefs, I'm not good enough. The automatic thought is, yep, I knew this wasn't going to work. It automatically comes in. An automatic thought is that thought that comes in as soon as something bad happens. It's that first thought that comes in. I knew this wasn't going to work. I knew I was going to fail at this. You shouldn't have did that. This wasn't going to happen anyway. It's those automatic thoughts. It's like the cousin to the negative core belief. And so we call this a cognitive cycle. So first it's the core belief that goes something like, I'm not good enough. And then there's an intermediate belief that says, I got to prove I'm good enough. So that intermediate belief is like, okay, I must prove that I'm good enough, which is sort of a good thing, but maybe not on its face. It's that neutral space. Yeah, we all want to prove we're good enough, but to what extent do you want to have to prove that? Okay, you don't want to demolish or diminish yourself trying to prove something that you should already know. Okay, but that's the intermediate belief. And then the cognitive distortion. Remember the cognitive distortion, that black or white thinking, all or nothing, always, never. Okay, the cognitive distortion comes in and says, I lost the competition. I will never win. You see that? I will never win because I lost the competition. That's not true. You lost this competition. There's plenty of competitions to be had. You could win one of them. The cognitive distortion doesn't let you believe that. Cognitive distortion says, you'll never win. This is it. Just give up. The automatic thought comes in, I'm a loser. You see how that flows? We start with the core belief that I'm not good enough. The intermediate belief comes in, I got to prove that I'm good enough. Cognitive distortion, I lost. I'll never win. Automatic thought, you're a loser. You see how you just go down that rabbit hole? That is so hard to come back from. So hard to come back from. More adaptive core belief, I'm good enough. I can do this. Intermediate belief, I don't have to prove anything to them. I got this. There would be no cognitive distortion. Automatic belief, this is good. I did it. Or even if you didn't do it, I'll get it the next time. You see how that positive core belief just kept you going up. It just kept rising you more. You didn't lose anything in that. You lost nothing. You just kept going up and up, and your mood was still good. But that negative belief just kept you going, and it just dragged you down. So we want to stay out of that negative cognitive cycle. So, again, where there is hope, there is help. And this is how we're going to help. We're going to help identify our core beliefs because sometimes we don't know what they are. So this is what we're going to do. Here's some strategies. Notice what your thoughts are. Notice what you're thinking. Pay attention to your automatic thoughts. And these are the thoughts that a person often doesn't notice. They just kind of sneak in there. But if you pay attention, you'll hear what they are. By becoming more aware of them, a person can start to notice any consistent themes or patterns. You start to listen to yourself and find that, ooh, I often tell myself you can't do something or don't even bother. What's that about? Start listening to your automatic thoughts. Start listening to yourself. Keep a diary. Yes, keep a diary. It can help to diary for several weeks just to record your thoughts and feelings, okay? And they can just be bullet points. Just to record your thoughts and feelings about what you're feeling, what your automatic thought was. When something happened, what's the first thing I thought? Whether you think it's silly or not, just jot it down. Focus on times of intense emotions or stress, such as following after a fight with a loved one. Write down the thought that sparked it, okay? What thoughts did it spark after that fight? And after some time, review the diary and look for patterns. What theme keeps coming up? That's probably your core belief about yourself. Asking questions. Once a person notices the patterns, they can start to explore the core belief that underlies that thought. Okay? Start asking questions. What is this about? What does this say about me? Do I think that I'm unlovable? Do I think I'm a loser? Do I think I'm not safe? Do I think I'm incapable? What is that? That's going to start to tap in and consider the evidence. Consider what beliefs a person has without the evidence. If the person finds that they cannot change the belief despite having strong evidence that contradicts it, it's probably a core belief. So if you see the belief, but there's no facts to it, like I'm unlovable, but you have a mom, dad, siblings, cousins, grandmother, all those people that love you, and you still believe that you're unlovable, that's probably the core beliefs. There's no facts to it, but you still believe it. That's a core belief. Okay? And those are the ones that are often difficult to change because we don't have any facts, but you still believe it. So it's coming from somewhere. There's several things that you can do to reframe your thinking. Again, that cognitive restructuring. Cognitive behavioral therapy works really, really well with changing your core beliefs because it teaches us to think differently about things. So identify your negative core beliefs and how they impact you. Is it benefiting you? Probably not. And one simple thing that I like to do is whatever that core belief is, other side of the page, write the opposite. Write the opposite. I'm unlovable. I am loved. And then write down the facts. Write down your facts. Take this to court. If it don't stand up in court, it's not true. And then we have to reiterate to ourselves, I am lovable. This is who loves me. We need to write that down. Positive affirmations. Try to determine where this is coming from. And this is going to be a deep dive that you have to do. And a therapist might have to be the person that helps you with that. Okay? Why do you think this way? What's going on? Where is this coming from? Where's that touchstone event that set this thought in motion? Therapy can be extremely helpful for that. Challenge yourself to accept that these negative thoughts are baseless. They have no foundation. Just because you believe them doesn't mean they're true. Okay? Replace these beliefs with new ones. Like I said before, write down that negative core belief. On the other side, you write down the opposite positive core beliefs. All right? Try to catch yourself playing out your negative core beliefs and make positive changes. If you catch those automatic negative thoughts coming, stop it. And in your head at the moment, no, I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. I can win this. I may not have won this one, but I can win the next one. And this is how. Retrain your brain. That's what cognitive behavioral therapy does. Retrains your brain. And you can do this. We learn to be this way. We can unlearn it. You have the power to do that. Be patient with yourself. Again, you did not get this way overnight. You will not change it overnight, but you can change it. And again, there is help. Life is better with you here. There's tons of therapists that you can reach out. Reach out to a family member, a trusted and loving family member, trusted and loving friend, clergy, spiritual leader. Reach out to a therapist. You can do the work and you can change this. Okay? Seek professional help. Learning to become more mindful of your negative core beliefs is going to be the first step, because when we're aware, then we can do something about it. You're no longer in the dark, wandering around about why this is happening. Now you have a little bit of a light. Let's turn that light up a little bit. Let's get some help. Let's shine the light on that negative core belief, turn it into something positive, and start living your best life. You got stuff to do. We need you. We need your gift. So let's turn up those positive core beliefs. You are lovable, capable, good enough, worthy, and whatever other positive core belief you are. Let's write them down. Let's read them every day. Let's take it like we would take medication. Pick one every day. Read it to yourself for a month. Next month, pick another. Read it to yourself every day for a month. It's medication for the soul. Your soul. You're worthy. And you are deserving of being here. So my challenge to you is to identify your negative core beliefs and rewrite them into positive core beliefs and live in them every day. Live in them every day. Again, you are the most important person in the room. Act like it. Behave like it. Walk into your purpose. Be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. And you're the only person who can do that because you are unique, uniquely and divinely purposed you. My affirmation: when troubled, I can stop, breathe, and reach out for help. And remember, regardless of your mental health journey, life is always better with you here. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you for listening. This has been the Life is Better With You Here podcast with Dr. Childs. For more episodes, you can find us on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and more. We would also like to give gratitude to our sponsors, the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation and Global Insight Productions, without whom we wouldn't be able to do this. For more information about our sponsors, please visit ohiospf.org and globalinsightpro.com. For more information about us, visit our website, lifeisbetterwithyouhere.org/. We look forward to seeing you next week. And if you have any suggestions for episode topics, please leave us a comment. Also, if you or someone you love is in crisis, please call 988 or text Steve, STEVE, to 741-741 for free and confidential support 24/7. And again, thank you.